Morning. Welcome to Monday. I'm afraid it's a slightly damp Monday, although it's not actually raining right at the moment, but it's maybe not the wisest of things to be walking along the path with wet grass all over it in shorts. It's never the nicest feeling. You know what it's like when wet grass slaps against your legs? Not a nice feeling. I think I've told you before that I collect quotes. I have a little book which I've had for a long time. I think the first quote actually got written in it back in 1989 when I was a student at St Andrews. Just a little book. Probably bought it out of Innis's. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did buy it out of Innis's. But anyway, or Innis, should I say. So, this little book, yes, with quotes in it. And all sorts of things. And they've just been written over the years. And anyway, I collect them. And from all sorts of people. But I added one at the weekend that I came across, and it's not the first quote from this lady. It says, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. I like that definition of success. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because it was something that was said by a lady called Maya Angelou, and you may recognise the name. She was a well-known American poet. She died a few years ago now. She was a poet, writer, and she was also a civil rights activist. I suppose her most famous book, she's particularly well known for, she wrote a whole lot of memoirs, I think about 6 memoirs from her life, and the first one is one of the most famous. It's I Knew Why the Caged Bird Sings, or I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, that's why it's called. And it was published in 1969, and she was 40 at the time, but it was just about the first 17 years of her life, and it's a very powerful book. And as I say, I have a number of quotes in it, in my little book of quotes written by her. Another one of my favourites, I'm sure you'll know this one. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And of course you can take that in a positive way and in a negative way. People may remember when we make them feel good, but I try to remember that they'll also remember when we make them feel bad. But I came across another of her quotes in my little book at the weekend, which I was looking at, which seemed particularly appropriate for this time. And it's this: prejudice is a burden that confuses the past, threatens the future, and renders the present inaccessible. And I think that is particularly true at the moment. There's a lot of talk about prejudice at the moment flying around, but prejudice isn't restricted to one group of people. It isn't restricted to one attitude. It isn't restricted to one political opinion. It isn't restricted to one culture. Prejudice is found in so many places and in so many guises, and it does immense damage. So I'll leave that with you today for the beginning of this week. This quote from Maya Angelou, a woman of great age when she died, and even greater wisdom. Take care, everyone. Have a good start to your week. Take care. God bless. Keep well.